Peace, everyone. The Hood Mystic, representing www.hoodmystic.com. The message today is going to be centered in destiny. Uh, Also centered in the differentiation between the individual soul and the cosmic soul. For the layman, that would be the individual opposed to the collective, and the trouble that we get ourselves into by being left brain prisoners. So the idea is to break free out of that left brain prison and induce some freedom in our experience, induce freedom within our being. Been on a wild journey over the weekend, and I'm glad to be back. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. So with any message, with any day, the idea is to be clear on what's going on in the channel and to be clear with the message that I'm speaking to you all. The transformation that has been taking place for me is the realization of my ancient ancestral mind. And this ancient ancestral mind is just like this moment. It's just like these lives. It's not me, it's us. And we're talking and building upon the spiritual. And building upon the spiritual is awesome when you're by yourself, but astounding when you can do it in a group form. And even more so, these talks, if able to apply in your life, you take them from a left brain experience. Even though my channel is not really centered on left brain activity, I try to make it engaging and creative and colorful, based upon the fact that spirituality has to engage your right brain as well, your creative mind as well. Unifying your left and right brains, it does something to you. It identifies the core problem or the core issue. And before unifying, being in a left brain prison, one could think that our problems and our issues are centered in not having enough money, not having enough love, or not house big enough, neighborhood shitty, etc., etc. But in the space of transformation, in the space of full integration, you realize that the issue is connectedness. The issue is a forgotten tribalism. The issue is this idea of individualism that plagues your mind. And once you get out of that and you only think of serving, and you only think of aiding, you only think of helping, and you seek others who have that idea, that alleviates the problems within themselves. And so astrologically, we're taking a look at Mars, because today is Tuesday. The major space today is centered on Mars in action. The other spaces that we'll talk about is Uranus. We'll also talk about the moon and the sun. So that was the intro. So like I said, the center of this talk, peace to everybody. Thank you guys. No, that is not my chart. That is the chart for the day. But in my book, I have my chart laid out where I'm trying to help you work through the workbook and give you an example. So if interested in my Vedic chart, you can find that in my book that I just put out recently. So destiny, Mars, what do they have to do with each other? What is actual destiny? as opposed to fate. Fate, I feel really good. I want to explain something. I want to help people understand that there's more to our minds than our left brains. And we can talk about it, but we have to really experience it. We have to merge these two brains and be conscious. We have to bridge the gap. But this space is not found in conceptual thought. It's really found in the principle of action. We are actionable beings, right? We do things. We go to work, we make love, we hug, we kiss, we talk. We're actionable people. So action is not our problem. Purpose is our problem, because we deal with our intent before our purpose, which is an analogy of putting the cart before the horse. So we get into magic, we get into consciousness full of intent. I want to manifest a big house, want to manifest a new car. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But our intents are strong. And that intent can drive you through this consciousness experience. We could always want money. We could always want love. But in that intent, without purpose, you are leading on a road that's already made for you, and that's called fate. Destiny is when you're in the car and you stop and you pull over and you take out your GPS and you say, I want to go here. You create your life. This is destiny, because destiny is the same word for destination. Destination has to be planned before you even get in the car. You have a destination. So destiny is having an idea of where you want to go, and that is the action first. You just don't get in the car. Well, sometimes you do, but for the most part, you know that you're going to work way before you get in the car. You done showered, dressed, brush your teeth, got on your clothes. You prepared long before you got in the car. You just didn't wake up and go. So consciousness is, you can be anything. You could do anything. Law of attraction. Get up and go. Okay, I can do anything. But you didn't stop and get dressed first, brush your teeth, brush your hair, and really figure out purpose. And so that would be an analogy to meditation. That 4-letter word that everybody hates. Everybody's so busy to meditate, or to really go deep within oneself to figure out your purpose. It's a difficult conversation, but it's so important that you figure out your purpose first. Because once you figure it out, then everything begins to make sense. My purpose is connection, truth. Everything I do makes sense from that perspective. Until I got that purpose, I was just trying to be the best Kyrie, so I could prove people wrong, or make myself happy, or make myself feel good, or all of these things that was centered on this ego. But in my study, I realized that I'm way much more than Kyrie. Kyrie is a limit and a block to my existence and my spiritual nature. So if I remove Kyrie, there's a new situation that I have to deal with. And in that new situation, that I have to deal with, I have to get it back to the basics. I can't be so advanced and super deep spiritual, far out in advance. I'm on Neptune. I'm on Pluto with it, I'm the deepest, but this is the block that comes with this trine to Uranus, because one could think that this spiritual shit is a race or a contest, but it's just truth and connection, honesty, integrity, love, belonging, esteem, realizing yourself through others. Now, there were some things that I had to take care of before I got to any type of spiritual level. The first thing was finding an opposite, a woman that balanced me out. Then we created a home that gave me a foundation and a stability to begin to study and feel like, oh shit, looking over my shoulder, feeling vulnerable. And then family, she showed me what family was. And then family gave me respect for having my own family, not being just this rebel or, lone mystic, sage of all sages, freak nasty, how these spiritual dudes be. But really going through the Maslow's hierarchies. But I really want to point out that having that foundation is really all you need. So we could imagine to get so high within the spiritual realms, but the basic shit of love and belonging is missing completely. But the spiritual shit seems good to me. It feels good, you could just talk about, Sekhmet and, or even this black and white thing, this football thing, and this Jay-Z thing. All of these represent unnecessary deepness. Because whether people play football or watch the halftime show or whatever the case may be has nothing to do with your journey. Absolutely nothing. But of course, these things are interesting and we want to. So I was explaining to my wife, the media is simply doing things like, Jay-Z said that the sky is red. Black people, how do you feel about that? The sky is blue. Everybody know that the sky is blue. And we could be validated in our truth, but you missing the whole entire point. They intentionally got some divisive schemes going against you and your energy to further the point of divisiveness and division. And no matter what, they've done it so much that to talk about connectiveness, it feels like, a little pin needle trying to go against, 15 slabs of wood and me trying to make an imprint or a dent in that. But I trust in myself, and I trust that enough pin needles together can burst through the illusion of individualness. There is nothing that we could attain without coming together. There is, within your soul groups, within your tribes, I'm not saying we all need to come together, but I'm saying you have a group that you need to come together with to go to where you need to get to. And if you're not in that space yet, then you realize, okay, this is what I need to work on. I don't feel comfortable being around people because I'm not comfortable with myself, nor do I have any purpose. Like, a real question to ask is, why are you here? And if you don't have that answer, then that's what you need to figure out. And it's like, well, how do I figure that out? Reading books, watching YouTube videos, going deep within yourself and trusting what comes out of that. I could go on and on and on about the connections that I made within my meditation and the outer world, but I need you to do it for yourself, because me talking about it ain't really going to do shit for nobody. It's important that you go deep within yourself to get the answers to begin to act on this shit. And this trine to Uranus is like so deeply spiritual and so deeply tied into your actions that you just want to do things that you want to fucking do. And you gonna have to deal with obstructions, but then you got to realize that this is in a fire sign, so the obstructions get burnt down. Uranus is in Aries, Mars is in Leo. It's a natural instinct, it's a natural drive to be in love spaces. Now, love spaces ain't attachment spaces. It ain't what I'm used to spaces. It's very primal, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So if we're gonna understand this trine, it's not about being so deep, but it's about trusting so much that you know you have the answers. And if you're not there yet, then you know where to go. You know you need to trust more, trust yourself more. So I've been reading a lot lately and taking a lot of notes and doing a lot of writing and learning, right? Learning. I'm having to relearn everything. And I know y'all is super deep and super advanced, but I can only advise you to take it back to purpose, to intent. That creates a destination, and that's how you get to destiny. Period. Now, we are human being, we're an ego, but we also have a soul, and we have different variables of soul. We have a cosmic soul as well, and the cosmic soul overrides all things. A good way to explain this is in the movie Sucker Punch, where this girl is trapped in this mental asylum, in this insane asylum. And in order for her to get out, they create a world where they're not in an insane asylum, they're in the brothel. But that's the second world, that's the individual soul, and that helps them to a point. The soul can help you to a point because the soul helps you live and function throughout your daily day-to-day things. But when it comes to freedom, it comes a higher level, a cosmic soul, a deeper principle. And so that cosmic soul is, so in the second level, you really have intentions and you really have drive and you're really trying to make something work, and you're studying, you're working, you're writing, you're moving, you're shaking, you gonna figure it out. That's dealing with the soul. The cosmic soul is, I ain't about to do shit because once you in the third realm, you got all the guns, you got all the knives, you got all the superpowers. You can do anything. You don't have any obstructions when you deal with the cosmic soul. So as the moon progresses into Aries later on today, it's a reset. So what perspective do you want to move into this week with? Do you want to go into it with the ego because you're in an insane asylum? Or do you want to go into it within the second world where you're just faking the funk because you don't want to be in the insane asylum, so you create a world? Or do you want to ascend to the cosmic soul level and really kick ass and be unstoppable? These are all choices, right? Because we're in the realm of destiny now. We understand the mystery now. We're not blind to the fact that, you know, my life is already predetermined. No, I can control and create the life that I want to by dealing with purpose. And from that purpose, I create an intent. From an intent, I'm allowed to create my destination. And this is how I get to destiny. The main thing that you deal with is purpose. And purpose could be as simple as learning or wanting to connect to yourself. And that's an intent within itself, and that's a destination within itself. That's a destiny within itself. There, I'm not even thinking about shit. I couldn't formulate the formula that got me to this point right here with my conscious mind. Or like, how would I ever do that? I couldn't. It would be impossible for me to do it. It had to be something deeper that we're working towards, and it had to be something more profound than just intellectual thought. So, the card of the day is the Prince of Wands. The Prince of Wands rules the third decan of Cancer all the way to the second decan of Leo. So this will be the energy from now until new moon time. So you can really work with this card and understanding this energy. So you can look it up online. I know you got some tarot books, or, you know, just look up the symbolism or freestyle journal. Understand the Prince of Wands, understand the Princess of Wands, understand the Ace of Wands. So it works in that third level tier or hierarchy that we've been talking about all day, if you've been kind of catching wind to it. But the Ace of Wands rules this whole shit. So you don't even have to deal with nothing but the Ace of Wands, where you really create a primal urge to really live in your passion and live in your bliss, because otherwise you're living in subjugation, right? You're doing something that you don't want to do. And this is, you know, as we talked about in other videos, Leo and the wings and being from one state of existence to another state of existence. We all have existences within our ego, within our experience, whether we like to admit it or not, where we've made bad choices. So now we have to recognize, okay, I made a bad choice. So let me deal with some energy to pull myself back up. So this is a perfect card for that. One deals with the princesses and the princes. One would think in the hierarchical scheme that those cards are lesser than the knight or the king. But really think about it. If your mom and dad had a baby, wouldn't that baby be more powerful than the mom and the dad by themselves, right? It's literally two energies. So the pages and the princess and the princesses, these cards hold more power than the kings and the queens, believe it or not, because they represent a primal and they represent a culmination of energy. So within this, you see the chariot and the movement, but you also see the masculine energy present. So therefore, you have movement, you have the chariot energy, but you also have passion and this action associated with it as well. And so that masculine would be identified as just direction, like go this way, my nigga, go that way, you know, as opposed to it just going wherever. So here we have control, and the Prince of Wands sits on the Five of Wands and the Six of Wands. So if we put those two cards together, you have strife and then you have victory. But it's a process, right? The strife or the struggle that comes upon victory or kingship is necessary. There is no growth without struggle. So that strife should be understood as refinement or getting rid of impurities and things of that nature to get to a level of right and exactness. So once you learn lessons and once you've leveled up, you have a state of maturity. And that maturity is represented in this cards. It's just the king and the queen together, and it's all greatness, it's all leadership, and it's all potential as well, is what you can accomplish. So in that space, starting over and realizing your energy is a turning point that we all could really encounter and really embrace as we walk into this new moon. So this daily energy reading was a lead up to the new moon. If you haven't seen the new moon video, please do so. If you haven't read the new moon article, please do so as well. Thank you guys for joining me. Really appreciate the support in the comments, and you guys keeping the thing going, and I know you guys is liking these videos, and I know you guys is sharing them, so I appreciate that. And let's just keep the love going. Had a lot of things to do today, so I just wanted to kind of make this brief and to the point. I hope you guys understood what I was trying to say, and if you knew this already, sorry, but I just wanted to let people know who haven't really factored this information in, that it's available. And at the end of the movie, you got to watch the movie all the way to the end when it gets down to the point of who's going to save you in this shit. And I'm referencing Sucker Punch. It came out in 2011. Awesome movie. Like, I liked it from the beginning to the end. It was just crazy to just watch it and to see how deep it connected to what we going through today, but I want you to watch it